Jamaica's financial system nearly collapsed, leaving thousands in ruin, and the country with a debt that spiraled into the trillions. But what really caused the disaster? And could it happen again? Hey, patriotic internet friends and family, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're diving into the financial disaster that rocked Jamaica in the 1990s, where ballooning interest rates crushed borrowers, leaving a trail of debt that took 30 years to clean up. We'll uncover the drama behind FINSAC, how 10 million turned into over $1 trillion in debt, and why new revelations from the archives could prevent it from happening again. Or not. Stay tuned to see how this financial meltdown still haunts us today. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more juicy updates on Jamaican politics. Welcome all patriotic Jamaicans. The movement continues. Make we get into it now. Let's kick it off. The FINSAC files, Jamaica's financial meltdown, Unmasked. The FINSAC fallout. Ah yes, the 1990s, a time when ballooning interest rates weren't just something you ignored in the fine print, but the grim reaper for many debtors in Jamaica. So what's the latest? Well, drumroll, the FINSAC Commission archives are finally here. Yep, after only 30 years of debt-induced nightmares, we're finally opening Pandora's box. No, this isn't just any launch party. This is the exclusive insight into one of Jamaica's most catastrophic financial collapses, where debt ballooned to represent 40% of GDP, affecting hundreds of debtors and costing the country over a staggering 30 years to fix. You heard that right, 3 decades. Key point number 1, 40% GDP debt. During this dark era, Jamaica was drowning in debt. Imagine trying to climb out of a $10 million hole, only to realize it had ballooned into a whopping $1.38 trillion. Yeah, you're not reading wrong. That's nearly the size of Jamaica's entire economy today. But wait, you think that's bad? Just wait till you hear about the debtors, the ones who borrowed and then, well, got crushed. Debtors versus FINSAC. So who were the real victims here? It wasn't just banks collapsing. Enter the debtors, business people, entrepreneurs, and well, regular Jamaicans who suddenly found their loan interest rates spiking faster than you could say financial meltdown. Jamaica, imagine getting your mortgage in 1990, and by 1992, you've wondered if you need to sell a kidney just to keep up with your payments. And yes, it was that bad. FINSAC hit these borrowers hard, leading to what can only be described as a financial carnage. Key point number 2, 40.7 billion to 1.38 trillion. The Commission's findings, now available to the public, tell us this period of chaos was not a hiccup, but a full-blown collapse. Interest rates ballooned, personal debt spiraled out of control, with 10 million turning into astronomical figures. Who's to blame? The government's monetary policies, failed institutions, and oh yes, the magical external factors that no one saw coming, except, of course, the people living through it. FINSAC archives and the way forward. Now, in what's been called a move of transparency, the government has launched the FINSAC archives. But before you rush to grab your popcorn, be warned. Personal details are blacked out thanks to the Data Protection Act and the Access to Information Act. So basically, things has been redacted. Yes, me don't know where them hide, but this is not transparency. Moving right along. Key point number 3, research and 10 million for universities. Still, there's plenty to learn. The government even set aside 10 million for the University of Technology and the University of the West Indies to help us dissect the damage. Want to dive in? Just head to mof.gov.jm/FINSAC Commission archives. All the juicy details of the financial carnage await. But here's the kicker. Will these archives actually help us to prevent another FINSAC disaster? Or are we just doomed to repeat the past? So what do you think? Will Jamaica finally learn from its 1990s financial fiasco? Or will we be back here 30 years from now, watching another minister launch another archive? Hit that subscribe button and let's keep unearthing the skeletons in Jamaica's financial closet. Comment below with your thoughts. Are we finally closing this chapter, or is the next crisis just around the corner? Here's a summary of the key takeaways. 1. The FINSAC era, 1990s. Ballooning debt crippled Jamaica's economy, representing 40% of GDP. $10 million in debt grew into 1.38 trillion, taking over 30 years to resolve. 2. Debtors' story. Many borrowers were financially ruined as interest rates skyrocketed. Government policies and financial mismanagement were key contributors. 3. FINSAC archives released. Public now has access to FINSAC Commission archives, with personal details redacted. 10 million allocated for research into the crisis by UTech and UE. 4. Research opportunity. The archives provide invaluable lessons on what went wrong and how to avoid another financial collapse. Will Jamaica's government heed the lessons from FINSAC, or are we bound to repeat history? Here are some questions that you might have about the FINSAC crisis and its aftermath, along with answers to address your concerns. Question number 1. Why did so many Jamaicans lose everything during the FINSAC crisis? Answer. The collapse of the financial sector in the 1990s led to soaring interest rates, making it nearly impossible for borrowers to repay their loans. Banks repossessed homes, businesses, and assets, leaving many in financial ruin. This was driven by government fiscal policies, mismanagement by financial institutions, and external economic procedures. Question number 2. Could another financial crisis like FINSAC happen again? Answer. While the government has implemented reforms to prevent a repeat of the crisis, the FINSAC archives show valuable lessons that must be remembered to avoid similar mistakes. However, without proper oversight and education, there's always a risk of history repeating itself. Key note and pay attention to that. Question number 3. How did the country end up with over 1 trillion in debt from the FINSAC crisis? Answer. The crisis, triggered by poor financial management and high interest rates, left the government with massive debts. To stabilize the system, the government had to take on the liabilities of failed banks and companies, resulting in debt that eventually reached 1.38 trillion, 40% of Jamaica's GDP at the time. Question number 4. Why did it take nearly 30 years to resolve the debt caused by FINSAC? Answer. The debt burden was so massive that it took decades of economic growth, austerity measures, and international aid to bring it down to manageable levels. It required painstaking fiscal discipline, which affected government spending on vital services for years. Question number 5. How can I protect myself from future financial collapses? Answer. Stay Staying informed and being financially literate are key. Learning from the FINSAC crisis, keeping an eye on economic policies, and diversifying investments can help individuals be better prepared for potential downturns. The newly launched FINSAC archives provide valuable insights into how similar crises can be avoided. Question number 6. What are the long-term effects of the FINSAC crisis on Jamaica's economy today? Answer. The crisis left deep scars on Jamaica's economy, including a slower pace of development and increased poverty. Even after 3 decades, the effects of FINSAC still linger. But with prudent policies, the country has seen improvements in debt management and economic growth. I hope these questions and answers not only address your concerns, but also fuel curiosity to continue learning and staying engaged and informed with the detailed insights into the FINSAC crisis. Hit that subscribe button, comment below with your thoughts. I guess this is the JLP's way of throwing out a distraction as a counter-narrative against the FINSAC Commission investigation of illicit enrichment. This is just a distraction, because the timing of this is too convenient. So I don't know if this is Dr. Nigel Clark's departing farewell gift as he's off to the IMF anytime now. All of the information in this archive is vital and it's important. But when we want to know why they take so long for release something like this, the reason is your whole vital information like this for use against your political opposition when you're desperate. And the JLP is very desperate right now. And this is a well-needed distraction to deflect and distract people from the Integrity Commission versus PM Wholeness. That's all this is. So it's political chess. You have to make your next move your best move. So them always hold and store ammunition for use and release at the perfect time, because timing is everything. So this is no accident them release the FINSAC information and basically making a documentary about it. This is not an accident. What I want to know is why they redact certain parts of the FINSAC archives. Who them are protect? What are they hiding? That is not full transparency. So I'm gonna rate that part there, none at all. Who knows, maybe certain names is in it where they know why you know and say, oh, but such man that there, such man where did over there, so around that the business they were collapsed to, and now see him over yourself in the 90s. But more importantly, you know what caused this collapse? Greed. Pure and simple greed. You see, the people at the top, a lot of people at the top got extremely rich and wealthy and escaped unscathed, while the debtors and the borrowers are the one who lost everything, cause I saw them thing normally go. You see the government run in and bail out big business. All the banks, yes, these financial institutions got bailed out, significantly bailed out. And it is the regular man who suffers, the average taxpayer who suffers. And as usual, said taxpayer are the one who have to foot the bill. All of this burden was foot by taxpayers. So the more things change, the more it remain the same. We see the same thing with SSL. SSL fail and a taxpayer's money they'd have to use to keep it afloat. That no make no sense. How you take public money and bail out private business when you're not even fix roads? I always say that. You don't fix roads, but you can't find millions for dumping even SSL. So roads are not a priority, but bailing out on rich friends and party is the priority. Dr. Nigel Clark, I know y'all leave, but the math is not mathing. But agreed, cause all of this financial meltdown. The people at the top, the money did come in so fast and so enough. Then just a smile and a collect. Greed with no oversight to keep them in check and hold no one accountable. Up to now, we don't hear Omar Davis and PJ get held accountable with this major financial collapse of the Jamaican economy, where a lot of people suffered. I remember the 90s hearing the FINSAC ad on the radio and on the TV like every day the ad used to run. You see, the Data Protection Act and the Access to Information Act, that's only there to protect the lawmakers and their rich friends. Lawmakers only pass and create laws to protect themselves, while them pass law to oppress and prosecute and persecute the poor, obviously. So guess what now? If I am over at the PNP and, my name in a that, my name is now protected. You see me, my name and my business is protected. You cannot release my name and my business. You only can say, the PNP under the administration of PJ and Dr. Omar Davis made this major financial blunder and error that collapsed Jamaica's economy. That's all I can say now. But certain key individual for them name and business are protected. Now, isn't that something? You think the lawmakers, these politicians, are gonna make a law to prosecute themselves and end up put them in prison? Don't be stupid. You ever hear the saying, the man will make the rope cannot be hanged by the rope? You can't use my rope hang me and me make the rope. Did FINSAC bankrupt Jamaica? What you need to know about the financial collapse. The hidden secrets of FINSAC. Why Jamaicans are still paying the price today. Jamaica's financial meltdown. Could FINSAC happen again? How FINSAC crushed lives and created trillions in debt. The full story. What really happened during FINSAC? 30 years later, the truth is out. The untold stories of FINSAC's victims. How this debt crisis changed Jamaica forever. FINSAC files exposed. How one crisis left Jamaicans in ruin. Could you survive Jamaica's next FINSAC? What the archives reveal. What really happened during FINSAC? How did 10 million turn into 1 trillion? The FINSAC debt mystery explained. Did FINSAC destroy Jamaica's economy for a generation? Why did FINSAC debtors lose everything? If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives. Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and hit that notification bell. See you in the next one. One love, Jamaica.